Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear learners, I have already discussed sentences on the basis of meaning, and if you try to follow them, you will find them in my video I have already made and on my YouTube channel. And you have already learned that sentences are divided in two ways, on the basis of meaning and on the basis of structure. I have already discussed sentences on the basis of meaning, and there are 5 types. Sentences are of 5 types or 5 kinds on the basis of meaning. They are assertive, interrogative, optative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences. But on the basis of structure, that means structure is sentences are of 3 types: simple, complex, and compound. Today I'll discuss simple, complex, compound. What they are, why they are called so: simple, complex, and compound. Today I'll discuss. But before I start the discussion, I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Learn English with Ujjwal, and this channel has been made to benefit you or to get to your necessary knowledge on English language. And if you follow them regularly, if you follow and watch my videos made on different types of grammatical items and even literature, that means in English related videos, you will be benefited, I think. And if you have already subscribed my channel, you are welcome, you are thanked very much. And if you haven't done that, please do. That means please subscribe, comment, share, like, and click the bell icon so that my made videos may automatically go to your channel. Thank you very much. Let me start my main discussion now without any delay. And my today's focus on sentences on the basis of structure. Sentences on the basis of structure are of 3 types. Number 1, simple sentence. Simple sentence. Number 2, complex sentence. Number 3, compound sentence. So dear learners, this serial may be broken, and some grammarians write compound sentence in second place and complex in third place. That serial is not a matter. You will have to understand what simple sentence is, what complex sentence is, and what compound sentence is. But you will have to understand one thing, that sentences are composed of different types of words that you have already learned. But this matter is deeper. We have to go deep into the structures of simple, complex, compound, because these are royal sentences that if any learner knows very well these sentences, simple, complex, compound, they know English, actual English, because they are to write different things with the help of these sentences. And the more knowledge you will have on these 3 sentences, the better your writing or your spoken will be. So I think you will be very much careful of learning these sentences. Dear learners, you will have to know one thing about simple, complex, compound. There are 3 types of sentences on the basis of structure you have already learned. But if you want to make simple sentence or complex sentence or compound sentence, you will have to know about clause. Actually, today I will not discuss clause in detail. Today I will discuss clause as much as we need to understand today's discussable matter, complex, simple, complex, and compound. So, for your better understanding, I would like to focus on clause and its classifications for your better understanding. Clause, clause is a group of words. For your better understanding, I will define it very simply. Clause is a group. Clause is a group of words having a subject and finite verb, and sitting under a large sentence. Here, dear learners, you will have to follow one thing. Clause is a group of words having a subject, and a finite verb, and sitting under a large sentence. You will have to follow this. Clause. We know if you want to make a sentence, we will have to use a subject and a finite verb. And so, subject and finite verb will make a complete sentence. But here, we see clause. Clause has the same thing. A clause has the same thing, you see. Clause is a group of words. Yes, a sentence is a group of words giving or giving a complete meaning or complete sense. But here, clause has the same thing. A group of words having a subject and a finite verb. Subject and finite verb. When a group of words has a subject and a finite verb, is a sentence. Because that will give you a complete sense. So in that sense, that is a sentence. But why do you call the same thing a clause? Clause is also a sentence. But why do you separately or differently call clause? We could call this a sentence, but instead we call this a clause because clause has to follow some conditions. Clause has to follow some conditions. Number one, it must have a subject and a finite verb. Number two, it will have to sit under a large sentence. When a group of words having a subject and a finite verb sits under a large sentence, it is called clause. You'll have to follow two conditions. One, a group of words must have a subject and finite verb. Number two, it must sit under a large sentence. That means it itself is not a complete sentence. It has the all qualities of being a complete sentence. But here we call a clause as it is under a large sentence. So it is not called a sentence, rather it is called a clause. It is rather called a clause. As a girl before marriage, a girl is girl. She is not called a wife. But when a girl is given in marriage into marriage, when a girl is given into marriage to a boy, a man, is called wife because she has followed a condition. She is according to their respective laws and rules, they are now connected with, she is connected with the man. So from this time she is called a wife. So in the same way, the same girl is called wife when she follows some rules. In the same way, a sentence, a small sentence having a subject and finite verb sits under a large sentence, it is not called a sentence, rather it is called a clause, because this group of words has sat under a large sentence. Let me explain this giving an example. Please follow. This is very much important with your learners. If you follow this, and many find this very much difficult. Actually, not difficult. If you follow carefully, it would be very much easy. It would be easy. Suppose, as I was, could not go there. I could not go there. Here you see, as I was in, I could not go there. Here, I was ill, I subject was is a finite verb here. Again, I subject could not go finite verb here. So here, could not go subject and finite verb. Subject and verb, here subject and verb. If you want to make a sentence, you will have to use subject and verb. And here we see two subjects, two finite verbs. So we now cannot call as I was in a separate sentence. In the same way, I could not go there, a separate sentence, because it is also under a large sentence. Two clauses together are called a sentence. Suppose this is complex sentence. So here, as it is complex sentence, we cannot call a clause a separate sentence, because according under the condition of this conjunction, subordinating conjunction, as both clauses are connected. Both clauses are connected with each other. As a result, they are while they will be separated, they will be separately called sentences. But as long as they are connected by a conjunction, they are clauses. Main or subordinate, both are clauses. Okay, I think you understand this. And so, according to this rule, we can say simple sentence has no clause. Here, you see, now I will discuss a simple sentence. Simple sentence. As I have already told you that according to structure, sentences are of three types: simple, complex, and compound. Number one, simple. Simple sentence. Simple sentence. But simple sentence must have a subject plus verb. Subject plus verb. Subject plus verb plus extension. As one subject, one verb, or maybe verb phrase, but there is verb unit. So we need not use any conjunction. So there is no question. As here, one subject, one verb unit or verb phrase or verb, maybe verb, the single verb or plural verb. It's not a matter. Verb is verb. Here, this is, we cannot call it a clause, because this is not a part of any sentence. This has not sat under any large sentence. As a result, this is not called a clause. So it is simple sentence. It has no clause. It has a subject and a finite verb, but no conjunction. Let me give you an example. I love. This is a simple sentence. I love my country. This is a simple sentence. It is not a clause. There is no any clause in this sentence. It's a simple sentence. But for your better understanding, I may use some symbols of understanding simple sentences. And usually, we use one simple sentence is made a long sentence. We may take help of some phrases. Suppose in spite of. Suppose in spite. It's a problem. In spite of, we use in making simple sentences, we may use in spite of this preposition also, despite, at the time of, because of, on account of, by plus gerund, without plus gerund, without plus gerund, noun phrases, present participle phrases, perfect past participle phrases, past participle phrases, also perfect participle phrases, etc. If we see these phrases or expressions, will primarily call them that they are simple sentences. If you want to make large simple sentences, long simple sentences, but usually a simple sentence has a subject and a finite verb. That is the main condition for making a simple sentence. But when you want to make a long simple sentence, you will have to use those phrases for enlargement of the simple sentence. Now, complex sentence. I'll discuss complex sentence. Number 2, complex sentence. Here, complex sentence dear learners, you will have to think one thing, that complex sentence is the double of simple sentence. Complex sentence is double of simple sentence. In the same way, compound sentence is also double of simple sentence. But if complex sentence and compound sentence have the same subject, same verbs. Suppose simple complex sentences, a sentence has at least two clauses, main and subordinate, and compound sentence has two clauses, coordinate clauses. That means two clauses. A complex sentence has two clauses, at least two clauses, and compound sentence also has two clauses. Two clauses, two subjects, two finite verbs. One complex sentence has a conjunction, compound sentence also has a conjunction. But how will we separate them as complex and as compound? We will have to follow in that case the conjunctions. We will have to know the conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions and coordinating conjunctions. We know a conjunction is a word that joins two words, two phrases, or two clauses. A conjunction is a word that joins two words, two phrases, or two clauses. So, conjunction is like a matchmaker. Conjunction is like a matchmaker. You know, matchmaker matches a girl and a boy for causing marriage. So in the same way, a conjunction makes the match between two things, two words, two phrases, two clauses. So yeah, the conjunction is like a matchmaker. Okay. Now complex sentence. So complex sentence, of course, complex sentence is double of simple sentence. That means it has two subjects, two finite verbs, at least, and at least two clauses. And so we'll have to know clauses. What type of clauses? Clauses are primarily of three types: main clause, subordinate clause, and coordinate clause. Main clause and subordinate clause are jointly used in making complex sentences, but coordinate clauses used only for making compound sentences. So complex simple sentence has no clause. Complex sentence has at least two clauses: one main clause, another subordinate clause. A main clause is often called, or sometimes called, principal clause. Subordinate clause is also called dependent clause. And coordinate clause. Coordinate clauses are independent clauses. Both are of equal. Independent clause means that clause doesn't depend on other clauses for a complete meaning. So they are independent, free. That means that clause is not under any let or hindrance for making any complete meaning. So they are called so. Yeah, complex sentence has at least two clauses: main clause plus subordinate clause. Main clause and subordinate clause. A conjunction. A conjunction. At least main clause and subordinate clause and a conjunction. But what type of conjunctions do you use in making complex sentences? Now let us make a short list of those subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions. What are the subordinating conjunctions? We usually use some conjunctions in making complex sentences. Now I would like to give you a short list of that. Suppose as, since, because. As, since, because, after, before, after, before, though, although, although, as if, as though, that, so that, in order that, in order that, dear learners, honorable learners, you will have to follow these. And if you are Bangladeshi or Bengali learners, you'll have to try to find out the Bangla meaning of these words from the dictionary. That means you'll have to look up these words into the dictionary. And also till, until. When it is until, only one L, single L. Till, double L. Unless. Even if, even though. Sometimes we use these types of conjunctions in making complex sentences, even though. And all the W's words, or W's, suppose who, whom, whose, with, what, where, when, why, how, and some phrase also act as subordinating conjunction. Suppose as soon as long as, lest, should, or might, mi, just might, rather than, that means they are also called correlatives. Suppose as, so, as, and so on, etc. There may be some other words which will function as subordinating conjunctions, but these conjunctions, dear learners, these conjunctions are the symbols or signals symptoms of understanding complex sentences. You'll have to memorize these conjunctions that they will help you to understand complex sentences. And if I see, suppose if you want to understand a Muslim, you'll have to see a beard, a religious cap, and a long mantle that goes on up to the ankle of the pious man, and such type of these symptoms will prove him a Muslim. And if you want to understand by saying that somebody is Hindu, and he doesn't wear such type of dresses, and he will wear different types of his head may be bald-headed or trimmed head, or there may be rosary around his neck, or there may be different types of color, and so but these will help us to understand Muslim, Hindu, somebody else, and that means everything has its own color, own characteristics to distinguish that from other things. So in the same way, these conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, will act as distinguishing symptoms or symbols to make you understand the complex sentences. So this, I'd like to give you some examples. Suppose if you learn English, you will get more opportunities. If you learn English, you will get more opportunities. Hello, dear learners, you'll have to follow one thing. That here, if you learn English, here, if is conjunction. You learn English. If you learn English, all together will make a clause, and you will get more opportunities. And here, there are two clauses. One is main clause, another is subordinate clause. Subordinate clause is a clause which depends on another clause to make the meaning full, complete meaning, from making complete meaning. On the contrary, main clause is not dependent on another clause to make meaning, a complete meaning. So that is independent clause or main clause. Here we'll see two things. If you learn English, this is it's a condition. If you learn English, it's a condition. If shows us the condition that if you learn English, it is incomplete. If you learn English, what will happen then? What will happen next? There is no any clear idea about only on this clause. So this is not a complete idea, because it will not give us a complete meaning. It will give us incomplete meaning. If you learn English, what will happen next? It is not clear. You will get more opportunities. If we separately think about this clause, you will get more opportunities. Only this clause It is not dependent on another clause. It will give you a clear idea or complete meaning. You will get more opportunities. It is not dependent on that clause. But this clause, if you learn English, depends on this clause, another clause for making its meaning complete. So here, according to definition, we will understand if you learn English, it's a dependent or subordinate clause, and you will get more opportunities. A main clause or principal clause or independent clause. And another thing, I would like to give you an easy idea to understand main clause and subordinate clause. Usually, main clause doesn't start with any conjunction, but subordinate clause always begins with conjunction. So, if you see a conjunction, that conjunction based clause is called subordinate clause or dependent clause, and conjunctionless clause is called main clause or principal clause. This is a technique to separate main clause from subordinate clause. Here, the subordinate clause begins with a conjunction. So, if we see any conjunction at the beginning of any clause, that is subordinate clause or dependent clause. On the contrary, when we see any clause without beginning with any conjunction, we will have to call that the main clause. Here it is clear. If we can see here, if you learn English, subordinate clause, subordinate clause, and here you will get more opportunities. Main clause, because this doesn't have any conjunction at the beginning of this clause. Okay, I think this is clear to you all, to separate main clause from subordinate clause, and which one is main clause and which one is subordinate clause. Number 3. Compound. Sentence. So compound sentence. Here, compound sentence. In the same way, you, dear learners, you have followed that in complex sentence, there are at least 2 clauses, main clause and subordinate clause. And in compound sentence, there will be at least 2 clauses, and but they are not main or subordinate. They are of equal importance or equal value. So here, as complex sentence has at least 2 clauses, in the same way compound sentence has 2 clauses, 2 subjects, 2 finite verbs, 1 conjunction, 1 conjunction. So how will you understand the differences between complex and compound? In this, as I have already discussed, the subordinate conjunctions will help you to understand complex sentences. In the same way, coordinating conjunctions will help you to understand compound sentences. So, now I'll give you a short list of coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions. Suppose and so, and thus, and therefore, thus, therefore, and sorry, therefore, but still, yet, maybe, but yet, jointly may be used in the same sentence, but yet, or separately may be used there. And here, or else, only else, otherwise, otherwise, and compound sentence also has some phrases acting as conjunctions, coordinating conjunctions. Suppose there are also sometimes called correlatives, either, suppose, either, dot dot or, neither, dot dot nor, both, dot 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 and, not only, dot dot, but also. Actually, these also may help you to understand the compound sentences. In another video, I must try to explain all these necessary conjunctions by making separate examples, example sentences by using these necessary conjunctions. But today, as I am discussing sentences only, sentences simple, complex, compound, I am helping you by mentioning these necessary conjunctions so that you can understand the sentences. And now let me give you some examples of compound sentences. Suppose he is poor but honest. Here, he is poor but honest. But you may think there is no subject here, there is no verb here. But it is understood. This is the characteristic of English language. In the case of but and, if both the subjects and verb are same, in the next clause we may keep subject and verb both are together, silent or understood. Suppose here, but he is, but he is honest. He is poor, but he is honest. We can write this: he is poor, but he is honest. We can write this, but the repetition here, there will be repetition. He is. So for stopping repetition, the grammarians have sometimes made such type of sentences. And if the subject is different, if the verb is different, indicating different tense, we must use the subject and the verb expressly in the sentence. Here, one thing you will have to follow, how every clause is independent. Here, he is poor. If see, dear learners, he is poor. Clear meaning. He is poor is poor, or he is poor. It is for its meaning, it is not dependent on another clause. In the same way, he is honest. He is honest. Yes, he is honest. Honest is honest. He is honest. For clear meaning, this clause is not dependent on the first clause, and first clause is not dependent on the last or second clause here. So both of them are coordinate clauses or independent clauses. Independent clauses. Independent. Here. Independent. Here, this is also independent. Independent clause. Both the clauses are of equal value. Both the clauses are equal rank. Both the clauses are of equal status. One is not principal, another is peon. Now, both of them are principals. If they are peons, both of them are peons. If both are them are orderlies. And so, one is principal, another is peon. No, both of them are principals or both of them are peons. Both of them are businessmen, and both of them are footballers of same brand. So, one is not better than another. One is not worse than another. Both of them are equal values, equal rank, equal status. So, this is neither main clause nor simple subordinate clause. Both of them are independent clause. None is dependent. So I think, dear learners, you will understand what compound sentence is. And lastly and finally, I would like to request you to follow the video from the beginning again, so that you can have the clear idea of simple, complex, and compound again. I think you have, dear learners, you have become clear about simple, complex, and compound. You know, simple, complex, compound are very to some learners are difficult sentences. Simple, complex, compound, and before that you will have to understand clause. I'd like to give you at a glance idea that a clause is a group of words having a subject and a finite verb and sitting under a large sentence. There is a condition, you know, clause must be under a large sentence. Under a large sentence. Suppose a girl is a wife, as she has a husband, so she is called a wife. In the same way, a clause, of course, has a subject and finite verb, but it is so called as it is a part of a large sentence. It is used under a large sentence, so it is called clause. And the clauses are of three kinds, primarily principal or main clause, subordinate or dependent clause, coordinate clause or independent clause. And side by side with the sentences I have discussed, though in short, conjunctions. You know, conjunction joins two words or two phrases or two clauses like matchmaker, and I have given you the necessary the conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions and coordinating conjunctions. Some subordinating conjunctions make complex sentences, and coordinating conjunctions make compound sentences. Dear learners, you know, simple sentence has no clause. That means simple sentence has only one subject and one finite verb. It doesn't have any conjunction. As it needs no conjunction to join another clause, so it has no clause. It itself is called simple sentence. Complex sentence will have at least two clauses. May have more than 2 clauses, but usually we find 2 clauses, main clause and subordinate clause, joined by subordinating conjunctions. They have already given you a short list of those subordinating conjunctions. And in the case of compound sentences, both there at least there will be 2 clauses of equal rank, but there may be clauses more than 2. But usually we use 2 clauses for making compound sentence. And I have also supplied you with the necessary short list of coordinating conjunctions, and they will help you to make distinguish compound sentences from complex sentences. So you see, in compound sentence there are 2 clauses of equal rank. One clause is not dependent on another clause. Both of them are equal. Both the clauses are of equal rank, equal status, equal value, and equal significance. So I think you understand, you have understood simple, complex, and compound. And in the next video, I must discuss on some other important topic. And dear listeners, lastly and finally, I would like to request you to subscribe my channel. And if you think it is important for you to follow me and watch my videos for betterment, for better learning and understanding, you will subscribe, share, comment, like, and click the bell icon so that my created videos may go to you automatically. And this is a type of disease, or it is very much necessary for the YouTubers to request the viewers to give subscription, or subscribe or share. This is because without subscribe, if you do not subscribe my channel or video, if you don't share, if you don't like, if you don't comment, if you don't you do subscribe of things, my channel will not be developed or will be progressed. So it is necessary for you to request you to do these things. I think you will kindly do this. Please subscribe this channel. Today no more. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.